Hey, what's up, guys? It's your vocal coach, Matt Ramsey. With thousands of singing videos online for free, how do you know what to trust and what's garbage? When you're first starting off as a singer, since everything's free, you're like, what do I have to lose? So you start going down the rabbit hole and start searching for different vocal instructors and different vocal instruction on different techniques. But as with anything else, when there's an avalanche of information out there, it's really, really easy to lose track of what's good and what's garbage. Today, I'm going to show you the red flags and the green flags when looking for quality vocal instruction online. Now, before we get into that, let's go back to ancient times. I had just quit my job in advertising and I was starting to play in the San Francisco train stations. Because I had no idea what I was doing singing technique-wise, I would literally lose my voice after an hour. And so what do? I started using this brand new thing called YouTube to look for vocal instruction and vocal warm-ups. So I'd watch some of the original YouTubers like Kevin Richards and Aaron Anastasia of the Superior Singing Method when I was trying to improve my voice. Now, the video quality of these videos was not super great. It just wasn't the right time yet. But certainly the instruction was, because these guys were so generous. They were being so sweet and giving all these vocal techniques and amazing things for free. But there's a catch. Flash forward after several years of vocal training, I'm now a certified vocal instructor with the Institute for Vocal Advancement, and I start watching these videos again as I'm starting my own YouTube channel, and I noticed something. Let me show you an example. Okay, so let's go to YouTube to learn how to sing. Okay, I think I've settled on this one right here. How to sing better in 5 minutes, 17 million views 9 years ago, must be trustworthy. Let's watch it.
You are in your journey as a singer, as a beginner or intermediate, this is a great exercise for you that is going to help you no matter what. And this is one of my favorite exercises. It's Z's. And it's Z's. Z's are great because it's the zzz, it's a real buzzy kind of sound.
Okay, so are guys and girls both supposed to do it in the exact same key then? He's given you this same exercise, the zzz, which I would not do a zzz exercise in the first place, but he's also given it to you in this exact same key for both guys and girls. You can watch through the whole rest of the video on your own. There's no adjustment for individual voice types here. Amongst males, there's no distinction between male and female keys. He just assumes that this is going to work for everyone. Remember that the entire point of this video that Aaron's showing you is to teach you to sing from the bottom part of your voice up to the top part of your voice without breaking, right? And he gives you this zzz in the key of C sharp, going from a C sharp 3 all the way up to a C sharp 4 and back down. Zzz. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, that C sharp 4 actually isn't getting into your head voice at all. If you're a guy, it's about 3 half steps flat of where your bridge starts. And if you're a lady, it's probably about a perfect fifth away from where your head voice is going to start. But look, this video is massively popular. It's got millions and millions of views. It's been around for a long time. And if you look at the comments, they were overwhelmingly positive. So now we know, as an intelligent consumer of vocal instruction content, not to just pick the video that has the most views. So maybe rather than looking at the vocal coaches, maybe we can actually look at singers for the best advice. Okay, let's look at this one. I mean, Cynthia Erivo, she's been in Wicked. I mean, she's an incredibly talented singer. Let's see what she has to say.
So if you think about your vocal cords, there's like 2 very thin muscles.
They are.
Very, very delicate.
They are.
When you are singing a big note, usually your voice should be as relaxed as possible, so they come apart just a little bit, so all the air.
So yes, you want them to be relaxed, but you don't want the vocal cords to be coming apart, because that's essentially just falsetto or too breathy. So if the vocal cords come apart, then you're just allowing more airflow through.
When you're singing a very high note, they come close together.
That's not true at all. Imagine your vocal cords are like rubber bands. Imagine that I have rubber bands between my fingers. As I draw the rubber band further apart and I flick it, it makes a higher sound than if it's really, really slack. The vocal cords work in the exact same way, in that the shorter, thicker vocal cords vibrate on the lower notes, and in order to hit higher notes, they stretch out in order to get a longer vibration. The longer vibration creates a faster vibration, faster cycles per second, faster hertz creates a higher pitch.
And if you're pushing too much and you're not using the air, they will rub. So when some people get polyps or people get nodules, that's what it's like, a bruising or a blistering of the vocal cords. The thing we do to try and stop that is using like honey or syrup that will help to soothe the voice, and keeping them hydrated means that they don't rub too much.
Okay, so Cynthia here is trotting out one of the old myths about singing, which is that, honey and tea are really going to help the vocal folds. They're going to bring them back into action. You're going to recover quicker, and it's going to be great. But here's the thing. The vocal folds are actually located below the place where the honey and the tea are going to go. As a matter of fact, if honey or tea actually touched your vocal folds, what's going to happen is you're going to have a massive coughing fit because your body is trying to keep all these foreign objects, i.e. food, drink, all these things, from getting into your lungs and making you really, really sick. At best, the whole honey and tea or the honey and hot water thing is just a really nice way of hydrating the vocal cords. That's the bottom line. All you're really doing is you're just finding a really, really fancy and possibly expensive way of hydrating your vocal cords, especially when you get into some of the fancier honeys. Okay, so what should you actually look for? What are you actually looking for in terms of online vocal and singing instruction? What can you trust? The first thing to look for is an understanding of vocal anatomy and physiology. And I know that sounds super boring, but trust me, this is the easiest place to start. The problem with this is that a lot of people, a lot of vocal coaches, a lot of singers in the anonymous Reddit sphere use these big words, but they don't actually understand how these different parts of the anatomy and the physiology of the voice work together. Let's use a prime example. How many of you guys have heard to sing from the diaphragm? Go ahead and raise your hand. Now, here's the problem. You can't actually sing from the diaphragm. The diaphragm, in case you're unfamiliar, is this muscle that's attached to the bottom of your lungs. And when you inhale, the muscle flattens as it contracts. And since it's attached to your lungs on both sides, on top of the diaphragm, as the diaphragm contracts and flattens, that's going to draw the lungs open and you're going to inhale air. And so what is the diaphragm? The diaphragm is a muscle of inhalation, of breathing in. It's not a muscle of exhalation. And what is singing? Singing is essentially a controlled exhale while the vocal folds are vibrating. Was I breathing in as I was singing that? No, I was breathing out. I was exhaling. A quick Google search or asking ChatGPT can be a really, really good tool for separating fact from fiction when it comes to things like this. Hey, chat, can someone sing from the diaphragm?
It's a common phrase and it can be a bit confusing. The diaphragm is indeed a muscle that helps with breathing, but you can't directly sing with it. Instead, the idea is to use the diaphragm effectively to support your breath.
The second thing to look out for when looking for vocal instruction and what to trust online is an understanding of why exercises work, not just how. If you don't know how an exercise works, you're literally just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Silence! And there's actually a logic to how most exercises work, and it can really be boiled down to two key things. The first is vowels. Open vowels tend to promote more chest voice, more resonance in the bottom part of your singing voice or the lower part of your range, like a na 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 na. Na 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 na. That na 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 that's a very open vowel. You can see that my jaw is very open as I say that sound, as opposed to something like a ooh. So ooh is an example of a closed vowel, which actually promotes more head voice resonance. So whenever you go to that you'll notice that it's really, really good for helping you get into that top part of your singing voice. And a third thing to look out when you're looking at the different vocal instruction out there is seeing if there's a method to the madness. Is there a logical idea of how the voice needs to be built? I have a very strong belief that the voice needs to be built in a very specific way, following a logical order and progression. And all the students that I see, including all the people online, fall somewhere on that continuum from being a total beginner singer to an advanced singer. If you've been watching my channel, you may have heard me talk about the perfect performance pyramid concept. And the idea here is that we're building the voice logically, step by step by step, identifying all the key skills that a singer needs to have in order to have the best performance possible. For example, we're going to be building support before attempting some really advanced techniques like vibrato, crescendos, and legato. You want to master your pitch before you work on your style, because obviously no one cares how cool of a style that you have if you're always flat or sharp of the pitch. Another example is we want to work on the chest voice, the bottom part of the singing voice, before we start developing the top part of the voice, the head voice. Why? Because the head voice rests on the foundation of having a strong chest voice built up first. Now, does this mean that every singer that I teach gets the exact same exercises in the exact same order? Absolutely not. You have to be aware of what exercises work well for different types of voices, whatever it is that they happen to be experiencing, but also you have to be aware of the different styles that you're teaching to. Okay, so this brings me to my favorite part, because I want to show you some questions that you can ask yourself as you're, consuming vocal instruction information. Number one, are they accredited by a university, a program like SLS or IVA, CVT, Estill? Or maybe they even have their own method that's just highly refined from all of their years of experience of working with people. Now, I should point out, this is kind of hard to do sometimes. Not everyone is super public about their credentials. And also, if you're just consuming random Reddit content, someone that writes like a 30-page description of what you need to do with your voice, and if you click on their little profile, you're not going to see their name. You may have no idea what their background is or their credentials. So a simple thing you can do here is you can literally just take one thing that sounds maybe a little strange or a little surprising to you, and you can fact check it with Google or ChatGPT or whatever. Okay, let's go to a treasure trove of misinformation, Reddit. What's a singing trick or technique that changed your life? Now, this is totally valid because everybody has different techniques that work for different voices. So let's see what some of the people say. Okay, I absolutely hate this one. Slightly forwarding the lower jaw to help with tension and a more powerful, rounded sound. I wasn't aware of how much tension I had there until I tried that trick. That sounds awful. And everyone's like, this is a great tip. So you're going to sing like this, like you have a underbite, in order to sing with a more powerful and rounded sound. The only way that I could see this working is if this singer was pulling their jaw, the bottom of their jaw so far back when they sing that this is an attempt to balance that or actually correct it. But as you can see, that's not going to help me. It just makes it sound weirder. Now, not to pick on Mina here, let's click on her profile. Let's see if there's anything about her that we can detect, like anything about her abilities. It looks like she's a singer. She's got a band. Let's check it out. This looks super rad. Like, it looks like she's got an amazing channel and she sings and stuff like that. And that's awesome. I'm so happy for her. And you can actually even see in this picture right here that she does have like a really interesting jaw structure. So maybe that thing that's working really well for her of keeping the bottom a little bit more fronted is helpful for her, because if you look over here, let's see, you'll notice that her jaw structure is a little bit pulled back on the bottom. So it very well could be that she's compensating for that and actually helping balance that out by pushing her lower jaw forward. So really cool. And on top of that, I would even wager to bet like her band sounds pretty good. She's probably a really good singer. Number two, are they a teacher or are they a singer? Now, I would not recommend taking lessons or receiving vocal instruction from someone who is just a singer that teaches on the side to pay their bills. And I know that this is super controversial. I have no qualms with anyone trying to make a living as a singer, and a lot of singers end up teaching singing lessons on the side. But here's why I recommend that you don't particularly fall into that trap. Because sometimes the best singers, even though they're incredible vocalists, don't actually understand the way that the voice is built. A lot of the time, they're just recycling things that their teacher taught them years and years and years ago. But they don't necessarily have any idea about why that specific thing works or how to apply it to different voices. Being a great singer and being a great teacher are two completely different skills. One other question to ask yourself is see if the teacher or the person that's writing the post that you're reading acknowledges the differences between voices. What do I mean by this? Well, I'm going to treat a male operatic bass different from a rock soprano pop singer. In other words, are they treating you exactly the same way that they're treating millions of other people? Or are they acknowledging that there are differences? So there should be some customization, some acknowledgement that different voices need different things, even if they are making a video for potentially millions of people to watch over the years. Always look for these red flags when you're consuming vocal content. And at the end of the day, YouTube is a great place for anyone to start their singing vocal journey. But the only thing that's really proven to work is getting someone with trained expertise to actually hear you. That's why I want to invite you to check out Master Your Voice, which is the only singing course out there that features a proven system of exercises plus personalized feedback directly from me, a 5-star vocal coach.